Good morning, everybody. This is the next part of the first chapter. Yesterday, we learned about the unique features of India. We learned about the rivers, the mountains, how they bind people together, how people went from place to place, village to village, town to town, spreading ideas. I had given you the work of drawing the map of India. You have done it. Some of you have done it. It's commendable effort. You have located Narmada River, the Magadha dynasty in Bihar, Garo Hills, Khartar and Sulaiman Hills, tributaries of Indus River, Ganga and its tributaries. Right? Now we will move on to the next part of it. Now the map that you saw now is the map of, you have it here, South Asia. Now South Asia is often called as a subcontinent because it is smaller than a continent. However, it is very large and it is separated from rest of Asia by seas, hills and mountains. That's why it's called a subcontinent. Now we are here. Why do people travel nowadays? Now look at map 1 once more. Okay, we'll get back to the map. See, this is the map. Right, if you look at the map, if you have the book, just take a look at the book. You can see the hills, mountains and seas from form the natural frontiers of the subcontinent. Frontiers means borders. You'll see the sea, mountains, deserts. While it was difficult to cross these frontiers, those who wanted could and did scale the mountains and cross the seas. People from China came, they have to cross Himalaya. People from Afghanistan came, they had to cross mountains. People from Europe had to cross Arabian Sea. People from other parts like Africa had to cross Indian Ocean. But still, they managed to come to India, did scale and settled here. These movements of people enriched our cultural traditions. People have shared new ways of carving stone, composing music and even cooking food for several hundreds of years. Right? Look at this again. We have frontiers. Still people came here and lived here, become one of us. Right? Now the names of those land. Now two of the words we often use for our country are India and Bharat. Normally we say Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Namaste India. The word India comes from the word Indus. Indus, already you know, Indus is a river. It's called Sindhu in Sanskrit. Now you have to find Iran and Greece in your atlas. That's your work for today. You have to find Iran and Greece. The Iranians and the Greeks who came through the northwest about 2500 years ago were familiar with the Indus, called it the Indos or the Indos. And the land to the east of the river was called India. The name Bharata was used for a group of people who lived in the northwest and who are mentioned in the Rig Veda. Now you know Rig Veda. We have 4 Vedas and Rig Veda being the oldest one. The earliest composition in Sanskrit dated to about 3500 years ago. Later it was used for the country. Now the country got its name from the name Bharata, became Bharat, Bharatvarsha, Bharat, or the name India from the river Indus. Now finding out about the past. How do we know about our past? There are several ways of finding out the past. One is to search for and read books that were written long ago. These were called manuscripts. Manuscripts. The manuscript is written about 1000 years ago. It is written on a palm leaf. Palm leaf, you might have seen palm tree. The palm leaves were cut into pages, tied together to make books. To see the manuscript, you have to go. Now it says to page 45. We'll not go to page 45 now. but you will see this in museums. If you go to museums, you will see manuscripts, yeah, kind of looks like this, rectangular in structure, which are stitched together, right? They're very delicate. Manuscripts are written by hand, and this comes from the Latin word manu, meaning hand. Because they are written by hand, we did not have print technology during that time. They were used to be written by hand. These were usually written on palm leaf, sometimes, or on the specially prepared bark of a tree known as the birch, which grows in the Himalayas. Birch is a tree, and the bark of a tree is used to write. Over the years, many manuscripts were eaten away by insects. Some were destroyed. I told you they are delicate now, but many have survived. You have to keep it very safe, often preserved in temples and monasteries. These books dealt with all kinds of subjects. The main thing that they dealt is religious beliefs and practices, like Rig Veda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. The lives of kings, medicine and science. You might have heard about our scientists, Aryabhata, Charaka, Sushruta. Besides, there were epics, poems, plays, Upanishads, Vedas, epics, Mahabharata, Ramayanas. Many of these were written in Sanskrit, others were in Prakrit. Now, those are languages used by ordinary people, and Tamil. Tamil is also one of the oldest languages found in India. We can also study inscriptions. What is inscription? These are writings on relatively hard surfaces such as stone or metal, like an inscription inscribed on the wall, on the stone. Normally kings got their orders inscribed so that people could see, read and obey them. If the kings have built a temple, they would put an inscription so that in future, like us, now we will go to the temple, we'll see we cannot obviously read the inscription because it is written either in Sanskrit or Prakrit, but we know people have studied, historians have studied the inscription, and they have concluded that this particular king has built this temple. Now, for example, you might have heard a city in Mysore called Nanjangud. Right? There is a very big temple complex, Sri Kanteshwara temple in Nanjangud. It's a very big temple. There are some of the inscriptions written there which mention that Tipu Sultan donated huge wealth to the temple of Nanjangud. Now, Tipu Sultan, being a Muslim, donated wealth to a Hindu temple, right? This we know. Obviously, Tipu Sultan is not there to tell us, but this we know because the inscriptions tell us. Now, there are other kinds of inscriptions such as where men and women recorded what they did, including the kings and the queens. For example, kings often kept records of victories in battle. Somebody has won in the battle of Haldigati, or the battle of Buxar, or battle of Plassey. So they like to put their name in the inscription showing that they had won that battle. Now you can see here, this is an old inscription, dates back to 20 to 50 years ago, was found in Kandahar, now present in Afghanistan. It was written on the orders of a ruler named Ashoka. You will read about him in chapter 8. Ashoka, you might know about him also, Samrat Ashok. When we write anything, we use a script. Scripts consist of letters or signs. For example, if you are writing Hindi, now you know it is taken from Devanagari script. When we read what is written or speak, we use a language. Now, to write, we use a script. To read, we use a language. This inscription was written in two different scripts and languages, Greek on top and Aramaic below, which are used in this area. Can you think of the advantages of writing on a hard surface and what could have been the difficulties? Right? If you write on a hard surface, it will be longer. Problems? Obviously, engraving is the problem. You just cannot write using a pen on it or paint on it. You have to have some standard tools to engrave, right? There were many other things that were made and used in the past. Those who study these objects are called archaeologists. Study of this is called archaeology, and who study this is called archaeologist. They study the remains of buildings made of stone and brick, paintings and sculpture. What they do is they explore, they excavate. Excavate means they dig under the surface of the earth. They go and dig. Sometimes they find treasure. We often hear stories where the Archaeological Survey of India (ASI) found some gold coins hidden under some land. Right? It is given to the government, of course, to find tools, weapons, pots, pans, ornaments, and coins. These were all belonging to some era. What the historians or the archaeologists do, they carbon date them, they see which era they belong to, and they write history based on that one. Some of these objects may be made of stone, others of bone. Now you know that dinosaurs' bone are found which date back to so many years, millions of years back. Now, based on those, people recreate the dinosaurs, and you might have enjoyed the movie Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. Now, there are things of baked clay or metal. That means it is to prove that the old people were using baking things. If there are the things are baked, that means there was use of fire, right? Objects that are made of hard and imperishable substances usually survive for a long time. You will see the pictures here, which are found obviously by excavation. You will see a pot from old city, which tells you, if you see this the pot, you may know that those people were using pottery. Pots like these were used about 4,700 years ago, so we are not the only ones who are using pots. Right, you'll see an old silver coin such as this one, which was used 2,500 years ago. And what ways is the coin different from the one we use today? These coins look like thick, maybe made of stone, and they are not in circular shape. We don't have a rectangular or a square coin now. I remember when I was a child, we did have a square, not exactly a square typed coin, but a square, like a 5 paisa. 5 paisa was a square typed coin. But you guys wouldn't know, but all you have seen is a circled coin. Archaeologists also look for bones of animals, birds, and fish to find out what people ate in the past. Plant remains survive far more rarely. If seeds of grain or pieces of wood have been burnt, they survive in the shared form. Do you think cloth is found frequently by archaeologists? That's a question. Like it will decay, right? Historians, that is, scholars who study the past, often use the word source to refer to the information found from manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. Once sources are found, learning about the past becomes an adventure as we reconstruct it bit by bit. So, historians and archaeologists are like detectives who use all these sources like clues to find out about our pasts. Guys, let's stop it here, because it will be too lengthy if I go on. So we will stop it here. Today we learned about, I'll just conclude what we learned about in 1 minute. We started with the map. I told you it's a South Asia map. It's called a subcontinent. Then I went to the names of the lands. India is derived from the river Indus or Bharat. Now I told you to find out Iran and Greece, because people from Iran and Greece came to India. They lived among us and they became one among us. And how do we know about the past? The first thing that I told you is manuscripts. Manu means hand in Latin. It is obviously writing on the palm leaf, which is very delicate, which used to be destroyed. The second one is inscriptions, which is written on a hard surface like a stone or a rock. Like I gave you an example of the inscription of Samrat Ashok. Now the third one is archaeologists. Archaeologists who go and excavate under the surface of the earth, and they come up with tools, weapons, and some other things, and they date it, they carbon date it, they study them, and they give information on exactly which era those belong to. Now that's only that we have studied For today, it's been a little lengthy, guys. I hope you will enjoy listening to this one. Till tomorrow, stay safe, stay inside.